Doing ad hoc queries in Adopt-A-Friend is relatively easy. The best place to do it from is from this icon right here, which brings up the advanced filter and sort. And this grid is basically where you lay out the information about how you want to query the records. There is a tutorial. You can just search for queries in Microsoft Access, but I'm going to go ahead and do a simple one for you. We're looking for any animals that were spayed after they were adopted. So the first thing we want is we want the field called disposition and then we go down to the criteria field and we say equal, in quotes, adopted. Upper and lowercase generally does not matter. And just to show you a very simple query, I'm going to go ahead and apply that here. Apply that filter. And it takes a couple of seconds to go through the database and kind of sort through it. You can see now we've isolated basically only adopted animals, and down at the bottom we have a quick count. It's 4,856. So let's say I wanted to add a little more information to that query. I not only want animals adopted that have been adopted, but let's say within a certain year. So we're going to look for the field. It's actually called adopt date. And that's probably the hardest part of doing queries, is getting familiar with what the field names are called. And also when you work with dates as a special format, I'm going to basically say I'm looking for anything that is greater than or equal to, and here's where it gets a little interesting. The format for a date is #, and I'm going to say 0, 1, 0, 1, 15. Okay, and so now I'm asking for animals that have been adopted for all of 2015. And I'm going to go ahead and apply that filter, again with this button here. So now we're basically doing two filters, one on top of each other. We first did the one isolating adopted animals, and now we're going to filter it to just animals that have been adopted out after 2015. So you can see here's the first, and now we have 822. So if we're looking at just the animals that are adopted out in 2015, it's 822. And now I'm going to do one more part of that query. I want to see animals that were spayed after the adoption date. So this would basically be animals that were spayed after they were adopted. And I'm just going to say that that would be, the criteria there would be greater than the adopt date field. So again, one of the hardest parts of doing queries is just the logic behind it. So basically we're looking for a pet whose disposition is adopted. Their adopted date is after January 1st, 2015. And also their spay date is past their adoption date. So now we're going to go ahead and apply that. And that should come back with less than 822 animals. Okay, down at the bottom we have 73. So it looks like there were 73 animals that had a spay after their adoption date. So this first one, you can see it was adopted on the 12th, and you can see it was spayed on the 20th. So this is one of our criteria. Now if we wanted to export that to Excel, all we have to do is go over to Datasheet View. If we want to export all the records, we just click the top left of the grid. It selects all 72 records, and we click the Excel export button. That's going to put that right out to Excel for us, plus it gave us a count. And it's going to launch Excel. Now you can do anything that you need to with this list. For the moment, I'm going to save it on my desktop. And I have a couple different options of how I could send it and save it. I'm going to save it in the older version of Excel, put it on my desktop, and we're going to call this spreadsheet animals spayed after adoption. And we're going to save that. So this is just a message about the different versions of Excel. So that's my first spreadsheet. Now I'm going to go back to Adopt a Friend. I want to change my criteria one more time, get one more query out of this. As soon as we come back here, I'm going to go back into my one screen, and now I'm going to say where the adopt date is less than, where the spay date is less than the adopt date. So that's going to bring us back any animals that were spayed prior to their adoption. I'm also going to put in one more criteria, and that is, again, the same field spay date is not null, which basically is the way of saying I don't want anything with a blank spay date either. So this should really come back with any animals who were adopted after January 1st, 2015, where they have a spay date that is prior to the adoption date, and it's also not blank. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this. Let's see how many animals we have here. Okay, we have 514. And now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to select and extract out to the spreadsheet. And now I'm going to save this again on my desktop in the older version of Excel. And this one I'm going to call animals spayed before. So the primary reason for doing a custom query, if there's something that's not in Adopt a Friend already, you know the data is there, but we don't have a specific report for it. As long as the data is there, you can always get it exported to a spreadsheet. So if you have any questions or particular database that you need, feel free to call us. We'll be happy to help you. And there's more ways and more queries that are available. Again, if you just Google Microsoft Access queries, you can learn all about it. Or you can just call us. We'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you.